So now that we are going to start creating this recipe, we need to look at the different aspects of a circle class or a circle object that we need to replicate. So we have 4 different variables, each of which remembers some quantity about the circle. And then we have this section here that kind of changes where it is, the circle, each time through the draw loop. And then we have this part here that check some like collisions, and then this part here that draws the circle. So we set some, and we have a part here that sets some initial values. So we have these containers to remember stuff about it. We have a section where we set initial values, and then we have some things it does. So we have it changing its position, checking wall collisions, and then being drawn. So we need to replicate all those things in a circle class to make it function like this. So first of all, let's just create a new class, so a new tab, and I'm going to name this circle. And to create a class, you say public class, and then give it the name of your class or your recipe. And I'll say this is a circle recipe or circle class. And so I'm going to set these to private just to get you used to seeing that word. You don't really need to understand it right now, but just know that it means that the thing belongs to objects created from this recipe. It doesn't belong to the program as a more broadly. But you don't need to worry about why this is right now. Just get used to it. It's a good idea when you're creating classes to make all of the containers and things that the class uses private. So we're going to make some floats to remember its x position, y position. It's dx, which is derivative of the position function, which is the velocity. So the speed, and dy, excuse me, those are kind of shorthand names for speed. If you're not comfortable with that, in fact, maybe we should just like kind of rename this right now. So I'll change it just because it's harder to remember what it means when you are not used to those notations. Speed x and speed y. Okay, so we have our containers that are going to be required. Now we've duplicated that part of the recipe, but we haven't given them initial values yet. Now, a class has to have what's called a constructor that allows parts of your program, and these are called fields. A constructor allows other parts of your program to build objects from this recipe. So to do a generic one, we're just going to say public circle and open and close parentheses indicating that it's a method. And this is the constructor method or function. The constructor's main job is to give initial values to any of the containers that are required for the object to function. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did here. Circle X, we'll just copy this actually, and put it here. But these containers are not the same name. I just use X and Y. So we have set the initial values in a constructor method. Now we can already build objects of this type from just this much code, but they won't do anything. So let's make sure we replicate the behaviors too of our circle object. Well, so we said that it kind of updates itself, or like updates its position. So let's copy that aspect of the circle class code. And I'm going to create a new method called public void update. And I'm going to, first of all, just have it update its position based on its speed. Okay, and then we're going to also have it in the update method just check any wall collisions. And tab that to keep it in line. Now again, this is not the name of the circle classes X and Y. So we need to change all those to reflect this class's variables, right? This X and Y. Okay, so now it has this good little update method that will actually work. And now we need to have a method by which it can draw itself so that it replicates all of the behaviors of our object in the other class. So we'll use the name display, and we'll say we want to have it display itself there, but I'm going to make sure that the circle class sets its own fill color to whatever the other one was, something like that, I think, so that it sets its fill color and then draws itself when asked to. Okay, so we've replicated the behaviors and of the circle, the circle over here. We've got the containers, we've got initial values, and we've got the update and display methods kind of duplicated over here. In the next video, we'll actually produce some circles and start putting them to use.